Top Sports Talk presented to you by Top Sports News. We are back. Took a little week hiatus. We had a crazy weekend with state basketball finishing, and then just the weekend prior, state wrestling. So whole bunch of stuff. Whole bunch of stuff was happening. Maybe I even got some of those timelines wrong because it's just been so long. But I'm one of your hosts, Caleb Jennerette. As always, next to me is my co-host, Isaac Deer. Isaac, how are you on this fine Sunday?
Oh man, this fine Sunday couldn't be any better, Caleb. We are back. Like you said, needed that break, man. I needed that break. You needed that break. It was nice. We'll have some winter stuff to talk about later in the episode. Spoiler alert. But I'm ecstatic to be back. I'm excited for the spring sports season. That's one of my favorite times of the year. Get to go back outside. Everything smells nice. Weather is horrible. I love it. The rain, the snow, whatever. How are you? How are you, Caleb?
I'm doing great, man. It's, March Madness is kicking off. Got some unnecessary stress going along with that, as my bracket has already looked pretty horrible. Shout out to KU, Purdue, Marquette, for ruining my bracket, but also shout out to the Wildcats and the Purple Santa that Isaac was just holding up as they move on to the Sweet 16 to go up against Michigan State. But this is not a March Madness podcast, so that's all the March Madness talk you're going to get. But yeah, no, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Ready to get into these spring sports. I love spring sports. Baseball was always one of my big ones. I love track too. So yeah, super excited to get into this preview. As always, want to thank our gold sponsors, Invista Credit Union, Family Guidance Center, and the University of Kansas Health System St. Francis campus for continuing to sponsor Top Sports News. And always want to shout out the ticker. Continue to use the ticker. Spring sports is no different. Everybody wants to know the scores. We want to know the scores. So put those scores in there, and we will appreciate it. But something to mention, be on the lookout, because tomorrow there will be another episode of Top Sports Talk. We are doing a two-parter because this episode is going to be a long one on its own. So putting two together, just didn't seem like a good idea. So today we have swimming, tennis, golf.
Is that soccer.
It? Soccer, yes. Girls soccer as well. And then tomorrow we'll have baseball, track, softball. There you go. So many sports to cover.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's not enough time to do it all in one episode. So we got a two-parter coming out. Maybe I'll say for certain, this is a one-time thing. I don't know if I can afford to do 2 episodes a week every single week, but we got to get the information out to you guys. So we're doing a two-parter. So be on the lookout for tomorrow's episode as well. Same time, just on a Tuesday. And as you're watching this, it'll be Monday. So yeah, you guys get the point. But before we get started, Isaac, you got anything else?
Man, yeah, 2 parts of just loaded content for the people. That's what we hear. We're the number one talk show in all of Shawnee County, so we need to live up to our name. We're a bunch of award winners now. So, hey. This is an award-winning duo right here. Let's go. Yeah.
How it goes.
Love it.
All right. Getting into our first sport. Girls swimming. We're going to start off with Washburn Rural. Washburn Rural lady swimmers won its 19th straight city team title last year, and they could make history this year with 20. Washburn Rural athletic department has been on a tear this year. Football team, always good. Did really good this year. Wrestling team, always good. Did really well this year. Basketball team just missed out on a really good year. Or they had a really good year, just missed out on the state playoffs this year. But the girls obviously were in the state championship in basketball. So big shout out to Washburn Rural. And let's see if they can make it 20 straight city team titles.
Absolutely. That girls swimming team was excellent, and they've been excellent the last 19 years. The history doesn't lie. Finished 10th as a team last year at the state tournament, which was great. They returned some really good swimmers. Mara Bear Kirsten Harris, McKenna Pritchard, all medal winners, racked up a lot of awards last year. Will be back. Mara Bear, she placed fifth in the 200-yard freestyle, sixth in the 500 free last year in the Class 6A state meet. Yeah, watch out for her in the 200 and the 500 free, as well as the 200 medley and the 400 free. And then Kirsten Harris finished 16th overall in the 6A meet in the 100 breaststroke. Along with that, she's a standout in the 200 medley and the 400 free, as well as this next person, which is McKenna Pritchard. She placed seventh in the state in the 100-yard free and eighth place in the 50 free. Pritchard also provides a huge boost in that pretty stacked 200 medley and 400 free relay. So yeah, Washburn Rural, and I'm missing out on some names too. But they got a bunch of great swimmers coming back to that program next year, and I would not be surprised at all if they won 20 straight city swimming titles.
Yeah, shout out to the Lady Blues. So moving on to Seaman, the Vikings return some very talented swimmers this year, including a state champion after finishing fourth in the 5A 1A state meet a year ago. So looking forward to big things from the Lady Vikings, who have also had a really good year in sports.
Yeah, and that state champion is Avery Walls. She won a state title last year in the 100-yard backstroke. With all the meets that happened last year at City, when Seaman was in the Centennial League, that meet, and then a bunch of other meets. She was just over the top awesome. Placed third in the 200 individual medley, and she swam on the Vikings third place 200 medley and 400 free relays. First team All-Stater, no surprise, won a bunch of titles in city and league, as I just mentioned. But the crazy thing is that she's just a junior, just like her sister, Torin Walls, who will also be back with the team. Second team All-State pick last year, took fifth overall in the 5A through 1A state meet in the 500-yard free, tough race, and sixth in the 100 butterfly, and swam on Seaman's third place 200 medley and 400 free relays as well. And then one more swimmer I really want to have my eyes on here. She's going to come back with a vengeance, is Jocelyn Grace. She had an older sister last year, won a bunch of awards, state medalist. She's graduated, but Jocelyn finished fifth in the 200-yard individual medley and swam on that 200 and 400 team last year, the 200 medley and the 400 free relay. But she was a sophomore. Well, no, I think she's a sophomore now, but she was a first team all league selection last year. So yeah, Jocelyn Grace, expect some really big things from her. And this whole Seaman team is just loaded. Once again, like Washburn Rural, it's like, man, there's some big time swimmers on both teams. So I'm looking forward to that.
100%. And seeing these yardage and meter links is just making me tired in itself. Like, I get tired taking a drink of water, let alone swimming 400 meters. So, man, shout out to you guys, because I couldn't do it. But wanted to mention, since we are on a time limit, we aren't going to be able to get to everybody, but I'm going to let Isaac list off a few more here. But don't worry, just tune in every single week. And if you do well, we'll talk about you. So yeah, just a few more swimmers to talk about, and then we'll get to our next sport.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can just touch up on a few more teams here. When I think about really great swimmers, I think about Topeka High. When I think about Topeka High swimming, I think about how excellent the diving program is there. And they bring back senior standout diver Brianna Devlin for another year. Last year was her first ever year diving, and as at her first year, she placed fourth overall in the Class 6A state meet. So that was pretty awesome. She swept the city and Centennial League diving championships in 2022, while setting Topeka High School records for the 6 dive and the 11 dive events. Brianna Devlin's just, all around amazing. So the fact that last year was her first year was just crazy. Shawnee Heights will also bring back some good swimmers as well. One of those swimmers is Ashton Landry. I think the sophomore finished third in the city meet in the 50 freestyle and the 100 free last year, and swam on the 200 free relay and the Thunderbird third place 400 freestyle relay. I think finished third in the 100 freestyle in the UKC meet, and she was a top 5 finisher, placing 5th in the 50 free. And then one last school we'll get to is Hayden. Speaking of kind of swimmers breaking out of nowhere, Hayden, with a really good team last year, they're going to bring back a lot. I mean, they're going to have some really good swimmers come back this year. And one of those returners is Kaylee Gregg. She was just a freshman last year, but as a freshman, placed 12th in the state. I think it's the 5A through 1A state meet. She placed 12th overall, with a score of 300.9 in the 1 meter dive. So you bring back another great diver in the city, but Hayden gets this one. Yeah, it'll be fun. I think Hayden, Topeka High, both with diving it's going to be something to watch this year. But yeah, Kaylee Gregg, stud, absolute stud, and I can't wait. I can't wait for this week to get started and for everything to kick off here or dive into.
There you go. There you go.
Excited.
That's a good one. That was a good one. That's why we are an award-winning podcast, because of little jokes like those.
Yes, sir.
Moving on, we got boys tennis, and you can't talk about boys tennis in Shawnee County without talking about Topeka West. Chargers are getting some significant returners back for the season. They had an outstanding season last year, taking runner-up in the 5A state championship. They had a team. I don't really know how tennis works, so don't come at me. But they had a team of state champions, I believe, in the doubles.
Yes,
is what I believe. So shout out to them.
Yes, they had a duo of Miles and Ian Cusick. They're twins, the Cusick twins. They won the 5A state doubles championship last spring, the one you're referring to. They won city, league, regional championships, I think, for the second straight year. Both are seniors this year. It'd be kind of cool for them to make some history again this year. But yeah, the twins, pretty dang good. They kind of took the world by storm last year and just dominated the spring. So those are two, I guess you could say, prep superstars around here. That'd be a good duo for people to watch here. And some more Charger players, Topeka West, bringing back just a great team. Carter Cool, he teamed up with graduated senior Gavin Chavez. They finished 6th, I think, in the doubles in last spring's Class 5A state tournament. Cool and Chavez were city champions and number 2 doubles. They finished 2nd in the league in doubles and 5A regional tournament. They were just all over the place. Great. But Carter Cool will be back for another year. So we'll see who he is doubling up with. Not 100% sure. But we'll see when that happens. And then you get James Mag and Caden McGee as well. A couple of juniors returning to, like I said, kind of a heavily experienced Charger team here. Mag, all-city recognition last year, runner-up in the number 1 singles in the city tournament, and Mag also finished 4th in singles in the Centennial League tournament and earned a 5A state berth. But yeah, Topeka West, loaded, absolutely loaded. They're definitely the favorite this year, I think, in 5A. So look out for that team.
Yeah, 100%. And then moving on to Hayden. Wildcats were able to post a 3rd place team finish a season ago in the Class 4A state tournament, and fortunate enough to return a few pretty solid players as well. So really looking forward to see what the Wildcats can do this year.
Yeah, you think about the couple you just mentioned, a pair of really good players coming back. Gus Glotzback is one that comes to mind, a senior this year who's coming back. I think Gus paired with Michael Sandstrom last year. They finished 2nd in the 4A state tournament in doubles for 2 straight years. So they're right there, top 2. Gus has been there very, very close to just getting one step over and winning a state title. But two-time all-city honoree, and he's made his name throughout the tennis seasons here. And then Joseph Luke as well. He also teamed up with a graduate from last year and Patrick Gorman. They placed 7th overall in doubles in the 4A state tournament last year. Luke and Gorman qualified for state with a second place finish at regionals, and they were fourth overall in the city tournament. So Joseph, Luke, and Gus, both looking for a doubles partner. I wonder if they're going to get matched up. I don't know, but I wonder if they're going to get matched up. We shall see. But I'm excited to figure it out, man. Excited.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. And then wrapping it up with Washburn Rural, the Junior Blues bring back senior standout that had success last year in a rugged deep 6A class.
Yeah, deep, very, very deep 6A tennis class last year, and it seems like every year. But Mason K-Spear, he was the 2022 city champion at number 2 singles. He'll be back, so that's great for Washburn Rural. You know, he finished third in singles in the Centennial League meet last year, regional runner-up, went to the 6A state tournament. But he was a sophomore last year, and he also posted. Wait, I think he was a sophomore 2 years ago. I think he might be a senior this year. Could be wrong on that, but he when he was in doubles, he posted a 12th place finish. But K-Spear, 2-time All-City pick. He's going to be a front runner for Washburn Rural's tennis team this year. So look out for that guy. It'll be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And now moving on to our next sport, boys golf. I, for one, love playing golf. I'm horrible, but I love it. I live right on the country club, so get to see golfers all day, and it's just, I love golf, and I wish I was good. And I love watching golf. A lot of people don't like watching golf. They think it's boring, but I don't know. I like it. So really excited to see if I can watch some golf this year. But starting off with Shawnee Heights, the Thunderbirds are expected to be as well-rounded as you can get this year. Heights returns a pair of seniors that could make a significant run in 5A.
Absolutely. And they return one of the 5A's best in Alex Valdivia. If it weren't for Tsunami Kansas last year during the golf tournaments, I think he would have been in contention to win a state title. If you're not familiar, day 2 of last year, and I think
the infamous
I think it might be all the state tournaments were canceled. But Valdivia, he's won a city title, he's won a UKC title, won regional titles last year. I think heading into the state tournament, he posted 7 straight rounds of 78 or lower. So Valdivia, I mean, he was he had a great year, and it's a bummer that the weather kind of dampened everything, literally and figuratively. But you know, he's a senior now, so he gets another chance to go back and kind of avenge Mother Nature and kick Mother Nature right in the butt. Maybe not avenge himself, but hit a golf ball at Mother Nature's face. But yes, Valdivia, stud. He's back with Shawnee Heights. That is a big boost for that team. You get Aiden Jones back as well. Finished second individually in the UKC tournament with a 73 score last year. Catalyst kind of helped the lead Shawnee Heights to a league team championship. I think he posted a 6th place finish in regionals last year, the 5A regional championship. And then I think 5th in the Topeka West invite and was 8th overall in the city tournament. So Aiden Jones, you get a top 10 golfer in the county back with you, as well as Valdivia. That's going to be a good team this year. I'm looking forward to see what Shawnee Heights does.
Mm-hmm. And then moving on once again to Washburn Rural. As a team last year, Washburn Rural won a city title, had a runner-up finish at regionals, and clinched a state berth once again. The Junior Blues are more than capable of making a huge splash this year.
Yeah, you know, when I'm thinking about this year's team, I got to start out with Andrew Burdett. Burdett, he's a senior this year. He placed 10th in the city meet last year with a 27-hole score of 132. And thinking about walking 27 holes makes my feet hurt. They were city champions last year, finished 10th in 6A regionals. Yeah, so Andrew Burdett he's legit, as well as his teammate that I'm going to talk about next, which is Tad Armstrong, who was just a freshman last year, but Armstrong tied for 15th in the Centennial League meet with an 82 score. He was a big boost for a Junior Blues team that won that city title, as mentioned. So yeah, it's you get Armstrong and you get Burdett back. It's going to be That's going to be a strong duo as well. We just talked about Shawnee Heights a little bit ago. They got a strong duo. Washburn were also returning a really good duo. And I think as well, can't think of exact names off the top of my head, but I think they're going to be returning some more key pieces to kind of help with a tough 6A golf class as well. So Washburn Rural, be on the lookout this year. Might be pretty good.
Yeah. And be on the lookout for a few other teams as well. As we said with swimming, we are on a little bit of a time constraint. We don't want this video to be 2 hours, making you guys sit through all of that. So I'm going to let Isaac name off a couple of other teams around the county that can contend this year with some excellent returners coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. Topeka West is one of those schools that come to mind that I think could get some damage this year on the course. Junior Miles Alonzo, he will be back. Alonzo is one of the top golfers in the city. Earned his first state medal last year. I think he shot at 78, tying for 17th place in that horrible, weathered, shortened 5A state tournament in Winfield, Kansas. But Alonzo, he took medalist honors in regional competition, shooting a 76 and winning with a birdie on the first hole of a playoff. Don't see that too often, but Miles Alonzo, absolute stud. And then we go a little smaller in classification at 3A. You get Silver Lake. Silver Lake returns a bad ski man. Bryce Batsky back for another year with the Eagles. Shot an 80 last year, took a 10th place finish. Not too shabby. Again, I'm going to say it one more time. The weather was so bad last year, and they just couldn't even get out there to compete. But Batsky qualified for state with an 8th place individual finish in regional competition last year. And he also finished 13th overall in the 3A state tournament as a freshman year before. So good stuff there. Silver Lake's going to be really good. I've been following their golf team a little bit. I think they're going to be pretty solid as well. So be on the lookout for that bad man, Bryce Batsky.
Yeah, 100%. Moving on now to girls soccer. Starting off with someone that's been a frequent name in this episode, Washburn Rural, who finished 17-3 last year. They had a sensational season that led them to a runner-up finish in the Class 6A state tournament. Although they graduated some great players, they also retained some pieces that elevated the team in a super tough, as always, super tough 6A class.
Yeah, but over the years, you think about Washburn Rural, it's like they've been the gold standard in consistency. It's always seeming like that they're back in the mix in the 6A state tournament, but got some great players coming back as usual. Kate Hink, who was, she came out of nowhere last year as a freshman. She wasted no time making an impact for the team itself. She earned first team All City and All Centennial League recognition at forward as a freshman. You get couple Washburn University commits at Washburn Rural High School. Haley Beck was pretty dang good between the pipes last year. I think she picked up All Centennial League second team recognition last year and All City honorable mention a year ago as well. So Haley Beck, awesome goalie. I can't wait to watch her play again. Then you get McKinley Roan as well, who's that other Washburn commit. She's a senior as well. And like Haley Beck, had a great season a year ago. I think she was a all 6A honorable mention. McKinley Roan, great player. Not sure if Brooklyn DeLay is going to be back in that lineup. Not sure if she's plans on playing before she goes to Kentucky to play volleyball. But if she's back there, look out for this team yet again, because this is a really, really good team. And unfortunately, I saw them lose that state championship in person last year to Blue Valley West in that 6A state title game. But it was, can't even remember how close it is. I think Blue Valley West is like a 6 or 7 time defending state champ or something like that. Johnson County and soccer, they go hand in hand. But Washburn Rural was, I think, 1 or 2 goals away from getting that 6A state title. But they're definitely bringing back a punch with them this upcoming year.
Yeah, 100%. And moving on to Topeka High, who loses a pair out of this world attackers with Tay Thomas and Lexana Sands from last year, but they are able to return a bunch of key pieces for their 2023 season. I think Topeka High can quietly, under the radar, be a legit contender for this state title.
I will loudly proclaim that I think Topeka High will be a state contender this year. I mean, they were knock on the door last year. I mean, they were so close. Tough loss to a good Garden City team. Hummer Sports Park, they were right there. I mean, they return a lot of those players as well. And when you think about Topeka High girls soccer, you can't think about that team without Avery Zimmerman, who I call her spark plug because she's just like, she can go from this to just like that in an instant, like a blink of an eye. She's just super fast, super tough, a gritty soccer player. Last year as a junior, earned first team All City honors, helped lead Topeka High to that 12-6-0 record. First team All Centennial League recognition, as well as the honorable mention for all Class 6A. Avery Zimmerman, stud. And then the Trojans as well bring back some really good players with Kiara Trupp, Face Shields, Sierra Carranza, and Molly McGuire, who were integral in the success of the team last year. They're all back to help kind of key in that run this year. And I think with Topeka High, they might have one of the highest upsides with that starting group and its veteran leadership that they do have. Derek Snook leading the team as well. You can't ask for much more if you're Topeka High. I think this team does really well this year.
Mm-hmm. And then Lady Vikings, who we've talked about already in this episode, finished last year with an 11-6-1 record. The Vikings had an awfully impressive season last year with big hopes and aspirations this year. I know Tim Nussbaum will coach his tail off and have his team ready this very week.
Oh yeah, no, I love Tim Nussbaum. He breathes soccer, man. That guy he's incredible. Love talking to him after each and every game. I'll get to see them on Tuesday night as they host Manhattan. So to kick off my spring sports year, I'm going to see Seaman play, and I'll have a lot more to say on not the next episode because that's our part 2, but the episode after that. I'm looking forward to talk about them a little bit. Great returners as well coming back to their team. Couple of seniors as well, like Brooklyn Yingling. She's a forward. She brings a lot to the table at that spot. She will be a key catalyst for that group. She can score you 2-3 goals with ease per game. JC Schumann as well, great player. She kind of had a standout year last year, and JC Schumann's she'll be excellent to watch. And Eleanor Stahlbomber, she's going to be really good. She was a first team All City selection last season, also earned All Centennial League honorable mention. You get Taylon Stahlbomber as well. We all know about that 4-sport athlete that she is. We talk about her, it seems every episode.
Yeah, pretty close.
All right, well, we're doing it again because Taylor Stahlbaum is also really flipping good at soccer. So Seaman, I mean, the record says 11-6-1 from last year, but kind of with this next team that we're going to talk about, I thought they were a lot better than the record showed, and they're bringing back a lot of those players as well. So I think Seaman will be up there with Shawnee Heights for that UKC title this year. I think this is a really good team. We'll get to Shawnee Heights in a little bit, but man, Seaman's got some really good players on their hands this year.
Yeah, and speaking of better than the record showed, I mean, Hayden is just one of those teams. They had a 10-7-1 record a year ago, but as always, it seems like with all their sports, they're always better than what their records show. Their classification smaller, or a couple classifications smaller than the teams they play all year. So, and they put up good fights with them all the time. So watch out for Hayden no matter what the record is at the end of the year.
Absolutely. And with Hayden, it's like there's not any really specific individuals that are, that try to carry a team. It's a whole team, man. Like their bench is deep. Their starters are really consistent, good starting, good quality starters. And that's why I think, as well as you do, as I think that 10-7-1 record is really deceiving. If I went and saw them in person quite a bit last spring, and I was really impressed with what they did. They lost some really quality teams. You think about, for instance, like Lauren Sandstrom. She's a 3-sport athlete as well, but she second team All Centennial League teamer last year. She helped lead that team tremendously. And she's a great tennis player, great basketball player, and that's kind of the theme with most of those Hayden players, it's like they're all 2-3 sport athletes, and um, which is really, really good for high school sports. But Hayden breakout year. I feel like that they're just gonna explode. They lose a really good goalkeeper, Macy Smith, kind of had a great year last year, and a couple other players, but I think Hayden's gonna be really good this year.
Yeah. And a team that was really good last year and looks to be really good again was Shawnee Heights. Man, they were really good last year. They finished 13-5-0, and they returned some key pieces as well.
Yeah. Shawnee Heights exceptional last year. Yeah, you mentioned a couple key players, and the couple key players that I think that will be back with a vengeance is Lila Benz, sophomore midfielder. She's really good in that midfield, one of the top midfielders in the city, I think. First team All City last year as a freshman, first team All UKC selection, all Class 5A honorable mention as a freshman. Can't ask for much better than that. I think Lila Benz is going to have another huge year this year. And I'm excited to see this Thunderbird group, and Isabel Van Fleet as well. Really good. I mean, this team is stacked, either the way that you look at it, and but for the two that I think that you're thinking about, Isabel Van Fleet's really good as well. Midfielder, forward. She's a sophomore. 5A honorable mention last year. Received a first team spot in the UKC team as well as All City honorable mention. So those are a couple really young players that are doing well for Shawnee Heights, and they got one more year of experience from last year, and then they'll have 2 more years after this year. So that's a skill for the Thunderbirds, and they got a great group this year. So Shawnee Heights, I always love watching them play at Bettis. Boys, girls, they got a great coaching staff as well. I'm excited to see kind of what they've been working on this offseason and kind of see that product on the field this year.
Yeah. And a team I'm really excited for is who we're going to finish off with. Cair Paravel, looking to have a really good season this year. The girls soccer team finished in fourth at fourth in state last year with a 15-5 record, and they're nearly bringing back the same exact roster. There was 24 players listed on the roster last year. 18 of them were underclassmen, and 12 of those 18 were freshmen. So very young team, very talented team. Look out for Cair Paravel. They're going to be really good.
Yeah, and this isn't a typical team at all, because when you think about it, it's like, 15-5-0 record. Is that a senior heavy led team? No, it's mostly freshmen and sophomores last year. And I mean, going up against the toughest competition at the end of the year, they ended up finishing fourth in the state. That's a great step forward. I mean, I can't wait to see what this team does this year. They got really good players too, which is why they were a top 4 team in the state last year, and they're just so young. I mean, the optimism for this team has got to be through the roof, man. One of the best players in the city is only a sophomore. She plays for Cair Paravel. That sophomore, Zara Fries. Quick as a hiccup, man. Quick as a hiccup. Great, as good of a soccer player as you'll find at such a young age. Fries earned 4A through 1A first team honors last year, first team All City and all Kaw Valley conference pick a year ago. And adding to the dynamic duo with Fries is junior Catherine Keys. Keys was also really caught my eye last year as one of those top players in the city, first teamer All City, and then for the second straight season was also a first team All Kaw Valley conference selection as well. So I mean, you get those two back, it's going to do wonders for your team. They're also going to bring back a few more contributors as well that kind of led to that jump last year to very, very close to winning a state championship at just such a young age. Allison Schwartz and Sage Schwartz in the midfield. That's a great duo. Trinity Childs and Veronica Ignato in the back line, and Sawyer Schwartz in the net at goalkeeper. They're all coming back for another year. So yeah, this is a dangerous team for sure. You got to look out for this team.
Mm-hmm. And with that is our preview for the spring sports part 1. Part 2 tomorrow. But we can't leave you without doing the best segment in sports. I don't know, in Shawnee County for sure.
History.
Yeah, we're going to do Fave 5. And since last week we didn't get to do a full recap of the winter sports, we're going to do a little bit of a recap right here. This Fave 5 and spoiler alert, tomorrow's Fave 5 will be a complete recap of all the winter sports as we'll each pick 5 athletes that excelled in this winter. You guys get the point. Let's just get to it. Let's get to it.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ooh. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Ooh. Read your mind.
All right, fair enough. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh man, it's always all right.
It's a close one.
It is rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. There we go again. All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, I got one more in this dog. Got one more. All right. Woo. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, the comeback
last second. I changed it last second.
I snapped my own losing streak. Let's go.
Had to happen. Glad it happened.
Yes.
It's a lot of pressure on me being the best rock, paper, scissors player in all of Shawnee County. So
yeah, award-winning rock, paper, scissors shooter. All right, let's get started. Fave 5 athletes from the winter sports season part 1. Let's get to it. My number 5, obviously one of the best athletes in the entire state on the court. One of the most phenomenal athletes you'll watch. It's one of those athletes you'll remember forever. I'm going to go Bo Aldridge from Highland Park. Missed a little bit of the season, but didn't really matter because when he's on the court, his presence is enough to help a team win. He did all the little things right. He could pass the ball, he could shoot it with ease. High flying dunk machine. Bo Aldridge is a stud. I love that group as a whole. Mike Williams, Trey Richardson, they're young bench pieces and some really good underclassmen. But Bo Aldridge, obviously the clear-cut leader, one of the clear-cut leaders of that team. Was just I really enjoyed watching him the last 2 years. He'll be moving on, but man, Bo Aldridge, just an absolute stud. And I'll definitely miss watching him play because he was easy to tell a story about. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's next for Bo.
Yeah, for sure. My number 5. We're going to head over to Shawnee Heights and we're going to jump in the pool. Luke Perkins capped his prep career with 4 Class 5A through 1A state medals while running his 4-year total to 12. He earned 4 state medals for the second straight season, posting 3rd place finish in the 100-yard butterfly, 4th place finish in the 200 individual medley, and swam on Shawnee Heights' 4th place 200 medley relay and 6th place 200 free relay. So shout out to Luke Perkins. Great career. Excited to see what he can do in the future. But yeah, congratulations. You made the list.
Absolutely, man. That was a great pick. Great pick. For mine, I'm going to go to Northwest Topeka. I think somebody corrected me the other day and says it's not North Topeka because we don't want to be affiliated. I'm like, okay, that's fine. What is it? And they said it's Northwest Topeka. And I'm like, whatever. Anyways, okay. I'm going to keep calling it North Topeka. North Topeka, where the Seaman Vikings call home. Ethan Burns, the excellent bowler for the Vikings. Terrific year. Of all bowlers in the entire state, he had the best #1 high series in the entire state with a 793. Obviously, if you're #1 in all classes in the entire state, you are the man, for sure. And 8 pins above second, and was fifth in the state in average with the 223 average. Burns was a first team all city selection this year. When you think about it, it's like with great bowlers in the city, you think about Washburn Rural, their four-headed monster with Logan Glinka, Josh Hammonds, Geo Peoples, and Walker Thompson, and other bowlers like Josh Egley from Shawnee Heights or Jason Tidwell from Topeka West. Burns, he's really up there as one of the top bowlers, and he just had an amazing year. Seaman as a whole, that bowling group was great. But yeah, Burns had a really, really good year, and I think is one of the top years in the entire state. So yeah, Ethan Burns, you just made the list.
Congratulations. My number 4, Jack Batchelor, Washburn Rural basketball, someone we talked about a lot, maybe every week, because he is just a straight dog on the basketball court, scores with all the best of them, won Centennial League Player of the Year for obvious reasons. Congratulations, Mr. Batchelor. You just made my list.
Great pick. Great pick. Jack Batchelor, one of the best, and I can't wait to see what lies ahead for him. My number 3 spot. We're staying in North Topeka for this one, or Northwest Topeka, or wherever you want to call it. Anna Becker. Anna Flippin Becker is just a flippin' sophomore. Recently just named the UKC Player of the Year. They didn't finish with that ring this year, but this season as a whole was such a success for the team, and in large part was for the production of Anna Becker, Taylon Stahlbomber, Jada Stahlbomber, Brooklyn Gormley, J.C. Schumann, then Carson Anderson. The names go on and on, but Anna Becker, one of the best players in the entire conference, and 5A itself. But yeah, like I said, they didn't end the year the way they wanted to. But with her, I feel like watching her facilitate the ball, she maximizes every single opportunity she can to make her teammates better. It's really noticeable on the court. And I've only heard positive things about her work ethic and the way she carries herself. So she's playing like a veteran. She played like a veteran as a freshman, and then this year as a sophomore, she really carried herself as a professional. But Anna Becker is one of the best. So got to give her a shout out here. She definitely deserves to make the list on this one.
Mm-hmm. Great pick. My number 3. I'm staying in Washburn Rural, and I'm getting back in the pool for Jack Miranda. Miranda capped an outstanding junior campaign with a pair of third-place individual finishes and 3 Class 6A state medals overall. He finished third in the 200-yard freestyle and 500 freestyle, and also swam on the Junior Blues 7th-place 400 free relay. Miranda won city and Centennial League titles in the 200 and 500 free, and also swam on the Junior Blues, winning 400 free relay in both meets. So shout out Jack Miranda, a lot of medals, a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff to talk about. Yeah, I mean, congratulations. Made the list.
We're going to go to the mats now. We're going to go to the mats, and I feel like that you're going to as well, because we have several state champions in this city. So, in my number 2 spot, my 1 and 2, no particular order, but now my number 2, we're going to Washburn Rural for this one with Landon Cocker Munoz here. Okay, he won the 120-pound crown in his first ever state tournament, along with winning his state title. Recently, Cocker Munoz, he was named the Shawnee County Newcomer of the Year. Making moves. His first year, winning a state title. I mean, that's that's the way to start. So, but awesome year for him. Washburn Rural wrestling program as a whole. I know he represents really, really well, and at such a young age, he's got a bright future ahead of him. So I'm excited to see what the next step is. Maybe he can get another one before his career is over. That would be great. But just getting one is such a huge accomplishment. So congratulations, Landon. You just made the list.
Yeah, bright future ahead for Mr. Munoz. Moving on. Staying on the mats, though, we're going to Northwest Topeka. Jackson Thomas, man. 285-pound state champion. The man was, I believe, a weight class lower last year, jumped up to 285 now, was a beast in football, obviously beast in wrestling, as he won a state championship in a super deep weight class in a super deep 5A. So shout out Jackson Thomas. That is state champion Jackson Thomas. You just made my list.
Absolutely. In my number one spot, we're going to Dog City. We're going to the Dog Pound, baby. We're going to Rossville, Kansas for this one. If you don't know who Kendra Hurla is, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're doing the community of wrestling a disservice. If you don't know who Kendra Hurla is, you got a problem. I'm just kidding. You don't have a problem, but you should probably look her up. She's pretty dang good at what she does. She's a 120-pounder, a perfect 3 for 3 now in state titles. She's only a junior. The 4A through 1A Wrestler of the Year is just pretty much the perfect all-around athlete, Caleb. I know at Rossville, they have a saying of it's just 6 hard minutes of wrestling, and Kendra, she's made it look easy over the years, and she has the opportunity next year to do something not a lot of people in the world get to do. She has the opportunity to win 4 state titles next year, and an almost unheard of thing. I wouldn't be shocked if she did it. And right now, her career record stands at 89-3. I think it goes to say that Kendra Hurla is the most dominant junior out of all athletes in the state. You can make your arguments and stuff, but I think Kendra Hurla is definitely etching her name as one of the top all-around athletes in the entire Sunflower State. So yeah, Kendra Hurla, blessed that we get to cover athletes like her on a weekly basis. But yeah, she phenomenal year. 3 for 3 on state titles, maybe even get a 4-peat next year. So look out for that. But Kendra Hurla just made the list.
Congratulations. And you mentioned a little saying, 6 minutes of hard work. As a wrestler growing up, it was always told that it's only 6 minutes. Yeah. Like you can do anything in 6 minutes. So just go out there and win. And that's what Easton Brockstrom from Washburn Rural did. He went out and won a lot. And very rarely did it take him a full 6 minutes to win, because the dude's just a beast. So 2-time finalist Easton Brockstrom, only a sophomore, won the 113-pound state championship with a 12-4 major decision over Junction City junior Ezekiel Witt, avenging his finals loss from last year. Finished off the season, as I said, with a lot of wins, 49-3 record, while, as I said, avenging his loss last year to Witt. Brockstrom was also named the Shawnee County Wrestler of the Year. And as you mentioned, there's a lot of really good wrestlers. One you just mentioned, one of the most dominant wrestlers in the state. So for him to win that, it's pretty legit. So shout out to Easton. You just made my list. And that is our entire Fave 5, part 1. Part 1 recap, our part 1 Fave 5 recap, and our part 1 spring sports preview. It's been a long episode. It's going to be a long one again tomorrow. So buckle up, get your popcorn ready. Well, I mean, I guess if you're watching this now, the episode's over. So if you're getting your popcorn ready at this point, you're kind of behind. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe, like the video, hit the bell so you never miss an episode. Comment down below what you want to see, who we should be looking out for this spring season, because we are always on the lookout for new names, and we are doing so many things all at once. We can't catch everybody. So remind us who we should be looking out for, and you might just get mentioned in the next episode. But Isaac, you got anything else before we sign it off?
It's 10 p.m. on a Sunday night. Good night, and I'll see you tomorrow, buddy. I'll see you tomorrow for the rare 2-time. Yeah, like you said, buckle up, go refill the popcorn bucket.
There you go.
Join us again tomorrow on the greatest talk show in Shawnee County. Let's do it.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.